All right, guys, moving on. We are committed to stopping the stigma surrounding mental health and taking the shame and blame out of discussing mental illness. Nearly half of Americans say they are feeling stressed during the coronavirus crisis, and that's according to a recent study. Now, more people are turning to meditation apps like Headspace to cope. With more than 66 million users, 66 million, Headspace is considered a leader in mindfulness. The company is now offering, get this, free one-year subscriptions to all unemployed Americans. Co-founder Andy Puddicombe voices many of the meditations, and he joins us now to voice his perspective on why this app can be so beneficial to people who have lost their job. Andy, good morning. Before we get into the gift and the benefits for unemployed people, let's talk just generally. Why might meditation be something to help at this particular moment?
Yeah, I think, morning, Tony. I think for a lot of people, as you say, they're feeling very stressed, very anxious. And we know through the scientific research around mindfulness that it can really help to decrease those things in our life. So I think now more than ever, we need those tools. I think it's not just the physical sort of difficulties that many people are going through, but also the sort of mental health challenges as well.
Yeah, it's a wonderful program you're offering now to people who have lost their jobs. But, the counter perspective here is, if you're out of work, you're watching your bank account dwindle, you can't meditate your way back to solvency. You can't meditate your way back to full employment. So how does it help a person in that particular crisis?
Yeah, and I think that really comes to the essence of meditation. Look, it's not going to get you your job back, but what it can do is help you cope with that process. So it can help you cope with the shock of losing your job. It can help cope with the anxiety of the implications of what that might mean in your life and to your family. And it can help rebuild confidence and sort of finding a clear sense of purpose as you go back out and look for work. So it's more about how do we build up our inner resilience to cope with what's going on in our life, rather than necessarily sort of changing what's happening in our life.
No, Andy, there are people out there, and there are people watching right now, they probably just tried to leave the room. Come back, this question's for you, who think, I'm just not the kind of person who meditates. I'm not a meditation type person. Yeah. What do you say to that individual in particular?
I would say that as human beings, we share many things, and we all struggle with our mind at times, and we all need a way to cope with those struggles. Meditation is a scientifically proven way of coping with those struggles. So even if you think this isn't something for you, I always say to people, if you think it's not for you, experiment, prove to yourself that it's not for you. Try it for 5 minutes a day for 10 days and see if it makes a difference or not. If you get to the end of the 10 days and it's made no difference, okay, you've proven yourself that you're right. But maybe you might be surprised. We often see that the benefits of meditation, although it's not a quick fix, the benefits of meditation are felt very, very early on. And the science suggests that it's less about duration and how long we sit for, and it's more about frequency. So showing up for just a few minutes a day can make a really big difference.
Well, then, if people who want to start, what should they know about showing up to meditate that first time? What should their expectations be? How do they get started?
Yeah, so look, I think there's three things that spring to mind. The first one is, think of this a little bit like physical exercise. So we wouldn't just go out for one run and expect it to be done and over with. We'd sort of think about this as doing it on a regular basis. Same is true for training the mind. Same time, same place, I think is a really useful way to think about this. Try and tie it to something that you already do in the day. So it might be shower and meditate, or breakfast and meditate, but kind of making sure that you have like a regular cadence to it. And then the third thing is, and there's actually this feature on the app, is find a buddy. Find a friend or a family member that you can do this with, that you can support each other on this journey. It's not always easy to sit with ourselves, especially when we're feeling very stressed, very anxious, very upset in some way. So knowing that we've got someone else there to help us along the way is really important and helpful.
All right, Andy Puddicombe, co-founder of Headspace. And speaking of finding a buddy, Andy is going to find a buddy of mine later today to do a guided meditation with our very own Vlad Duthier. It's going to be on Instagram Live. You can check that out. All you got to do is head over to the CBS This Morning Instagram page to take part. It's a great way to begin if you haven't been meditating already. I haven't. I might try.